Ladies and gentlemen, all rise for the RankKing's court.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're doing anything else besides this right now, stop what you're doing, get on the computer, tune in. The RankKing's court is live. I can't say anything else other than that. How are we doing, boys? It's 6:30. We are in the studio. What is going on?
We're here. We're back for another episode, Austin. How you doing tonight?
You know what?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I was trying to do you guys, because we talked about cartoons last week. I was trying to do Muscle Man from regular shows. You know who would like that? My mom. Whoa! It's his little shtick. But all right.
Oh!
Gotcha.
I've never heard that character, so another spot-on impression by the RankKing.
Spot on.
What to do, Rook?
Oh, man. So we got a great topic for tonight.
God damn it. I thought I had a black hat on.
Ah.
Son of a gun.
Oh, yeah. I just saw the comment now. Thank you. Thank you. I have a fan.
One fan.
One fan. That's all I
Those
need.
bros.
One fan. Those bros in the house. Glad you're joining. We got a great topic for tonight. And we got a little bit of a topic that we got to repeat at the beginning. But first, if you don't know where we're at, you won't know what to tune into. So where are we at tonight, gentlemen?
The Derek Whiten Show with Vo and Austin is live today from the Union. Wrong show. My bad. RankKing's Court is live today from the Union Fitness Studios located on the North Shore of Pittsburgh. Union Fitness is more than a traditional gym. It is a place where you can transform yourself inside and out with a variety of classes. Based around Mara said lies. Based around fitness, yoga, strength, and performance training. At Union Fitness, they believe it is their duty to hold themselves and their clients to a higher standard. They practice what they preach and uphold the values that make Union Fitness the community that it is. Go to unionfitness.com today and sign up for a consultation. Through Union, there is strength.
God, it's getting better every week, boys. I love it. So,
he's frozen.
I'm not frozen. I'm here.
No, Deke's frozen.
Deke's frozen.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
He's frozen. Are you watching the stream? He's frozen.
Is he?
I don't know how to fix it either.
You gotta clap. You
Oh,
gotta clap like Tinkerbell. keep clapping.
Okay.
There we go.
Thank you, guys.
Is a hat a requirement of the
Austin
show?
didn't have a hat on when we started.
He did
No
not.
way.
Yeah, he just
What
You
the
said Derek Whiten show, so I went black hat.
All right, well, I'm not looking like you two nerds, so
I'm gonna flip mine to the side.
one of us has to be a trendsetter.
But yes, we got a huge topic to get into tonight that holds a dear special place in my heart. But for that, we got to figure out, I guess, what maybe I did wrong last week. It's very doubtful that I did, but you know what? There are critics. There are people that want to say what they want to say, and the floor shall be theirs. So, Bo, what the hell went wrong last week, apparently? What were some criticisms?
Aside from everything.
So I'll show the list here real quick for the viewers that missed it last week. But a couple people said Dexter's Lab
Nice
should have been a
graphic,
little higher on the list, or a little lower, I guess.
Is it supposed to be higher or
So
lower?
lower. You had it at 9, so they wanted it probably top 5, I'd say.
I see what you're saying. Okay. So
Depends which way you want to go with it.
yeah, it is a directional thing, which it happens. But yeah, I mean, I get it with a lot of people thinking that. I mean, it's a classic, really. It's a '90s classic, so
Ooh.
people automatically think that it should be a little bit
I think it's
higher.
an age thing. Steph agrees with you and should not be top 5. I think it's an age thing because the old Dexter's Lab, not like the recreated version.
Yeah.
OG Dexter's Lab was top 5.
Oh yeah.
Not that there's that's like it's basically saying, Austin, do you consider Teen Titans Go a part of Teen Titans on this list?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so that's where I felt about Dexter's Lab. So the entire Dexter's Lab, I feel like people slightly younger know the newer one more, but the old one was OG as shit.
Yeah. No, I completely get what they're saying with like for me it was a little bit like I said last week, if they would have pitched a plot for like just one episode, like an entire plot, which I think it only happened once, and that's when we'll get into a little bit, later, because that's kind of what deals with the topic was that they had to create a giant robot to fight a dinosaur. that
Adventure
came out
Time's
of
in there stuff. Adventure Time was 8th.
Yeah, I'll pull it back up.
She was saying, did you include regular show but not Adventure Time? And you were very adamant on both of those, Austin.
Yeah, I was gonna Adventure Time is a big modern classic that like I said is super trippy and deals with adult issues, and I love it.
Liquid Death! We're going to get you a Liquid Death sponsorship, Austin.
I love that.
You have to.
Show,
Sponsor
do you have the
Look,
black
I have
cherry?
it too.
He has got the black
I have
cherry.
the black cherry, unofficial black cherry.
already. Oh wow, respect gone. Jesus Christ, Steph, let's relax.
Well, she's mad that the regular show's higher than Adventure Time.
Yeah,
I think I agree with you, Austin. I don't even think Adventure Time should be top 10. So
Well, I think it should be in the top 10 at least. I definitely think because I mean different people see cartoons in different ways. Like I think that regular show was a sort of modern classic, literally dealing with everyday life, but in cartoon form. Someone that hates their job, just trying to hang out with friends, make the right decisions, dealing with relationships and everything else. And, where else am I going to go? Whoa! Yeah. So
hopefully never, anywhere.
I would hope. No, I mean,
You never know, though. You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, if I did that to somebody in the street, I think they would know what I would be talking about. They would do it back. That's how popular I believe regular show is. So.
Was Foreigner here?
Not yet. I tagged him and everything. Rook's here. That's all that matters.
Because Foreigner, he liked the show I Am Weasel.
I
He wanted that
am
on
Weasel.
there.
Big fan of Cow and
Big
Chicken.
fan.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I get with Dexter's Lab because it included not only that, but it's the Justice Friends with starring Major Glory, Val Helen, and the Incredible Crunk.
And the monkey. And the duck.
Yes.
Dexter's pet monkey?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh yeah, the monkey was a superhero. That's right. That's right.
He was a superhero.
So that included like a whole bunch of different categories, which maybe I might move it a little bit higher. I don't know. I completely forgot about that.
Oh, Austin admits
Oh.
he's wrong.
Yep, we have it here. Heard it here first.
What?
You're
You
wrong? What?
What? You guys cut out for a second.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
Any other things, Bo? Because I know that I think I was pretty spot on with like, I think Teen Titans was a no-brainer putting it at 1.
Mhm.
The rest of them you could argue like a little bit. I think like Courage is rightfully placed. I think like all the other ones are kind of where they need to be, right?
What about like the Flintstones or the Jetsons? Were those Cartoon Network or were they just on Cartoon Network?
Well, we talked about that. I believe that I considered them more of Boomerang.
Hold the
rather-
fuck on. Look at the chat. Austin, you have some serious explaining to do.
Oh, so
Oh,
Austin,
yes,
this is going to be a clip, so choose your words very wisely.
I am
Because
So-
I just gifted a tier 1 sub to a random person, and you hosting tonight's show are that random person.
Lady Luck is on my side apparently. I will say that
Wouldn't say that.
I don't know. My subscription or my gifted sub last time wore off, so I wasn't even aware. So I graciously appreciate it. I mean, I will gladly subscribe and do everything else that I'm supposed to do in order to keep my job. So
Hey, there's no requirements to keeping your job.
take a sip.
There's also no requirements when a show just magically ends and the Tuesday slot opens up. So
Well, I mean, if you got to do that, no. So, yes.
All right, let's see if he has a good show tonight.
I think I will. Because, I mean, we're talking about something that I've appreciated probably since I was 7 years old. And that is the subject of Godzilla. The giant lizard kaiju that appeared in 1954 as Gojira and has recently staked claim as the king of the monsters. This is my wheelhouse next to horror, and I think we agreed when we did on movies that I said Josh gave me the option of what fandom I was more aligned with. Was it the Godzilla fandom or was it the horror movies fandom, which I'm obviously in both. And I said Godzilla. It wasn't even a shot in the dark question. Like, I knew that's what I wanted to pick because of how, let's just say this. I don't have, because it's up in my closet, but I have every single Godzilla DVD, or I guess on Godzilla movie, from 1954 until 2019 on DVD.
So that we can safely say that you are subbed to Godzilla.
Yeah.
You can say that.
Okay.
I thought he was going to say he has a Godzilla costume in his
I
closet.
would assume you have some Godzilla clothing.
No, see, that's just the thing. Like, I had a hat at some point, and I don't know when I was younger, and I lost it. But I know that I was recently like trying to like save up a little bit to buy a little bit of merch that I wanted, like a couple shirts, like a couple crew necks and everything. And then I decided that I was going to recently like start buying the films again. Like, because I had recently tried, they had shut down prices.
Yeah.
They like moved them up so much. And I was at the point where like, well, I don't really know if I have like, maybe some financial ability to, purchase these.
Yeah, see,
and
that's where he spent his money.
I love you, Austin Moorhead.
I'm glad you do.
That's all I got.
There's something for that. It's not like I don't give my 500 bits to.
I would rather, just to set the record, I would rather you sub than give bits. You personally. To avoid, because I will never rag on somebody for not giving bits. I will rag on the subs. So, like, if I'm like, Austin hasn't donated money in like 2 weeks, I would never say that. But if I gift a random sub during your show, it is absolutely hysterical that it went. Like, not even mad. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened. This is better than Tom Collins, in my opinion.
I feel like we've had like this happen too, where like Josh wasn't subbed.
Oh yeah, I've had it where I've done it on Two Beers Deep and like Josh got it. I've had it on Monday nights and it was Sikkim or somebody wasn't sub, which he's not really a part. But you know what I mean? Like, it happens a lot, and it's funny because it picks random, but it picks randomly by the people that are currently watching and picks there. And then if nobody that's currently watching needs a sub, it'll send to somebody like previously that watched.
Gotcha.
So it's really, really funny. I love that it went to you.
I'm glad it did. I'm glad you subbed again.
You can Venmo me $5.
I will.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Then I'll buy a couple. Then I'll buy you a round at Stinkies. We'll say that. I'll buy you a round.
It is freezing, Rook.
So let's get into a little bit. I wanted to bring up very quickly our Instagram rank.
Ooh.
Which.
Oh, Jojo.
Yeah, I'm wondering about this. So you had to pick the 1 week where and I'm not saying I don't know everything about everything. Otherwise, why would I do this show? But this is like my wheelhouse. This is my juice. And so you decide to piss me off on the one day. No, I know it's not your. It's whatever happens.
No, it's definitely my fault, but.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not your fault. I know it's your fault, but I'm just letting you know. So we'll go through these real quick. This is just literally like my favorite Godzilla suit designs throughout the years. Number 5 is not Mojo Jojo. Just want to make everybody clear. This is the which, for those that aren't aware, some of these eras of Godzilla are based off of rulers and emperors. So you had the Showa era at the beginning. You have the Heisei era, which those were like the two like main things that corresponded. So number 5 was the Heisei era Godzilla, which came from the year of 1984 until 1995. Basically just was in the line of more bad guy originally, and then not hero-like, but made his way over to fight other entities that were coming in, which made him a hero.
So he was a bad guy like Mojo Jojo.
I swear to God, Bill. We'll move on to number 4, which is technically also the Heisei Godzilla, but in a different fashion. This is the Burning Godzilla, which we'll get into more of the different designs and everything when we hit the movies, because I don't want to spoil anything too early. But this was a basic Godzilla where he ingested too much radiation and his body literally became a nuclear wasteland. At any point could have exploded or melted down. So that's number 4. I thought that was cool. And normally he would breathe like a blue fire, but instead with the radiation, he was able to breathe a reddish yellow fire for the just amount of radiation that was buried within him. So number 3, which some would argue is probably the cooler looking design, Shin Godzilla in 2016, which I said we'll get into all the movies and everything when we talk about it. But this one, he goes through a sense of metamorphosis. He starts off as like not being able to very much walk. He was a sea creature, and then slowly adapted and evolved to one point where when the movie ends, you see kind of like Godzilla-like people coming out of his tail. So he was. We'll get into that. Like I said, this is a little interesting trivia, a little knowledge. But number 2 is the GMK Godzilla in 2001.
I think
this
it's
one,
MGK.
you know what? Some would argue that
I
the
should've
letters
did that.
are a little unscrambled, but I don't see a guitar or tattoos on him, and he's not whining about someone leaving him. So I will say that the eyes, the one that is very differential about this is the eyes are a complete blank white, completely like without pupils. And this was his more terrifying, like beast incarnation. Like I said, when we get into some of the films later, we'll talk about it. But I thought this was just a cool design to throw. And finally, the one that made me very thankful that this was still going, which is the legendary Godzilla design, basically from 2014 up until now.
Love it.
A lot of people would argue that, he was quote unquote a thick boy here with how big his waist and legs were. But I mean, this is essentially like a modern day Godzilla, and that the weight all goes down there. So if he doesn't have huge limbs, he's gonna literally fall over. So yeah, I thought that was a nice, quick and easy run into our segment tonight with the different Godzilla costume designs. Let's hit the first radical ranking, guys. Alrighty, so the first radical ranking for
Look at this fucking camera work. Now I'm gonna.
You
fucking-
moved.
I did, Austin.
I can't see what's going on, so I'm
Just watch the stream and you'll see it. I'm gonna kill somebody today, and it's gonna be named Vo or you, Austin. I might drive up to Butler.
I mean, you could, but that would be.
Don't move it now. I'm already in the middle. I see what you're doing over there, you little shit.
I was gonna move it again.
Little shyster.
Little
Yeah.
shyster.
What do we got, Us?
So the first radical ranking we're going to hit, guys, are the top Godzilla monsters. This might correspond to something a little bit later, but I thought it would be gasp.
I hope so.
I thought this would be a little interesting to go on. So let's start with number 5. He's more machine than monster, but it still counts. The mechanized kaiju at number 5, Mecha Godzilla.
Damn it, Rook.
Posture check. Now I gotta move the cameras again.
You don't have to move shit. My
Jesus.
spine is so
This is
bad.
my liquid death too.
Sponsored by Liquid Death.
So
Unofficially.
Mecha Godzilla is an interesting one because various depictions have corresponded to him over the years. In his first film, he was essentially built by an alien civilization in order to conquer Earth and destroy Godzilla. The other iterations depict him more as a government-made project in order to defend Tokyo and Japan against Godzilla. But the one that I have pictured here is the original 1974 from Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. And this was a great design, everything. You had everything from missiles coming out of his fingers and toes to a beam in his eyes. You had a shock of electricity that would come out of his stomach. All advanced weaponry was designed here. And you could feel that with this, there's a little bit of a space feel of the space technology that was devised. And a cool thing that I enjoyed in this, which I tried to pinpoint to this, movie that was coming up, but there is a scene for Mechagodzilla in the 1974 film when Godzilla apparently rises out of a volcano and starts wreaking havoc, only to realize that another Godzilla shows up. And the original Godzilla that had occurred and appeared was actually Mechagodzilla in disguise as Godzilla. You would see between Godzilla and his fellow monster and kaiju pal Anguirus. Every time they would attack his skin, the flesh would come off and you would see metallic. So I thought it was a little bit of a cool trick that they decided to play off, kind of going that Godzilla had been, originally a bad guy and then a good guy for most of the Showa era, to now try to depict him as a bad guy, but he wasn't. So cool little design there. We'll move on to number 4, a fan-made kaiju. Storyline and everything that I very much appreciated from the Heisei era, and that is Biollante.
This one looks awesome.
Dude, this is her second form. Her first form might not have been as cool because it was essentially a giant rose, almost, with like different plant appendages. But this one essentially combines the whole story of Biollante is so interesting because this professor loses his daughter in an earthquake, and where he was studying Godzilla's cells. Now, in order to create a chemical weapon to fight off against Godzilla, he was designed to try to use the Godzilla cells and create this weapon in order to save humanity. What he does is try to preserve his daughter's soul that was imprisoned apparently in this plant, which it never was, but they tried to apparently combine Godzilla cells with plant cells, and it ended up creating this monstrosity known as Biollante. And this form, she shows that this is her second time showing up in the film, and she's more like Godzilla in this one because of obviously her giant crocodile-like experience. This terrifying thing you'll learn, Derek, is that the bottom part of her body is almost like a spider.
Yeah, it was gonna say either spider or squid-like. I'm not sure, but either way, I'm not about it. So it kind of looks like something out of Stranger Things, just from the small picture.
Honestly, the cool thing about this too is that she has the ability to ascend and turn into pollen. And essentially fly away. So anytime that she felt like she was in danger, she could leave right out of this, without it. She is one of the more giant kaiju that are in this. Like, she is extremely larger than Godzilla in this film, and you can very much see it. But to save time, we'll move on to number 3, which was my OG kaiju for so long. Gigan.
Yeah, this is my favorite.
Dude, I love this. Gigan essentially is an alien cyborg that was made by an alien civilization with more metallic appendages and everything else in between. First showed up in Godzilla vs. Gigan, teamed up with another monster that we'll name later on. And it was more of the more unique style of kaiju that I've seen. Almost a lot of people compared him to like a chicken.
There he is.
Like a chicken with like different appendages and everything that would go along. But the cool design, the roar. He is beaten sometimes, but he'll come back even stronger. We see in this picture below that his hands are essentially giant scythes.
So do you like the 2004 version, which is seen on screen, or the 1972 version that has the yellow fin in the back where he's a little more... The 72 version, I would call him the thick boy.
The thing.
Three
No,
C's. Three
I get
C's
that.
thick. Yeah.
You know it, buddy.
I would say that I enjoy the Final Wars Millennium version a little bit better because it gives off a bit of a darker origin.
Is that the 04 or the 1972 version? I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I'm assuming the 04, the later one, because this is the darker rendition we're seeing on screen right now.
Correct. Yeah, this is the one that I enjoy more. Yeah.
Lit.
So, he does get beaten in that film, but he comes back and not with scythes, but he has dual chainsaws.
Oh wow.
And you can't. You can tell in the picture he has a saw blade.
Gaijin Chainsaw Massacre. Goddamn.
So whatever
Ow.
ability that corresponds, he is deadly. He has a tenacity for a lot of. He's actually the first kaiju to make Godzilla bleed.
Oh wow.
So,
His own blood.
Nobody makes my bleed my own blood. Nobody. With that, we'll head on to number 2.
Read that last comment, Vo. Keep going, Austin. You keep going.
400 says, Deke, you hurt me because you don't want to come to mine and Vo's hockey game.
I just meant to read it. I didn't mean out loud.
Oh,
I guess I should have
no,
clarified.
you said read it out loud.
I did not say read it out loud. I said
Well,
read that
I
comment,
wanted
and then
to-
I said, Austin,
I
you
wanted
keep
to
going to keep the show going, but Vo
wanted
read the
to read it
comment,
out
and Vo
loud.
said, hold on, Austin, we have a fucking comment.
Number two, thank you, is a huge
Had to
one
do
that I
it.
hope will hopefully be a part of the Legendary Verse at some point. The Oxygen Destroyer, Destroya. Essentially looking like Satan himself, Destroya was supposedly going to be the last of the Godzilla villains. So they wanted something terrifying and gigantic in order to combat the King of the Monsters, with ties to the past. So to clarify, the Oxygen Destroyer was the weapon that originally killed the 1954 Godzilla in the Japanese film Gojira. And they wanted to tie that into this. So they had the basically crustacean creatures that had been exposed to the Oxygen Destroyer mutate over time and develop into one giant monster that essentially has all the powers of the Oxygen Destroyer machine itself. So the only thing that really is against Destroya is his ability to not take extreme temperature changes. So he can be defeated fairly easily with various radiation heat or cold, depending on like what you're using.
That is exactly what destroys Chip.
Oh.
My dad is useless in very hot or very cold, not useless, but that is what defeats him.
Yeah.
But this
I
was
probably didn't want you to say that either. Probably shouldn't have said that.
the whole thing.
Should have
with
said
Destroya-
that. Should not have said that.
Yeah. Should not have said that. Shouldn't have. But this ain't Harry Potter, boys. This is Godzilla.
I don't know. There's
I
dragons
love
and stuff.
The whole issue of Destroya's character and what he brings to the table. He actually was the only monster to kill a spawn of Godzilla. He ends up killing Godzilla's son in this film. So
Damn. Congrats on the sex, Godzilla.
I don't know if that's but all right.
I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it.
So we will now hit number 1. I don't think it's a question. This monster has been in more Godzilla films than I think any monster, and that is the one OG, the 3-headed dragon, King Ghidorah.
Kind of has to
Yeah.
be.
It with a name like King.
Yeah,
you
right.
knew he was gonna pick
Well,
that. The RankKing, King. Yeah, that's why I picked it.
So King Ghidorah is, like I said, they're very the different storylines vary, but originally showed up in Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster, which I believe was the 5th Godzilla film, if I remember correctly, out of 32, but 5th. And overall, it took 3 monsters to bring the original Ghidorah down, that being Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra. All
I know that one.
at once. And it's funny because we took those 4 monsters and Legendary took that into making Godzilla King of the Monsters. But instead, it was more of Godzilla and Mothra teaming up to face off against Rodan and King Ghidorah.
Morrow writes in, no Mothra.
I know, no Mothra. I know. That don't worry. That we'll get into that whole in a bit. But I mean, Ghidorah is essentially an alien dragon, 3 heads, wings, ability to conduct electricity, and essentially it's just one of the top OG monsters. If I want to say how many movies he's been in, I gotta say like 5. I gotta say like 5, maybe 6.
Not as many as Godzilla, though.
You know,
Very true.
figure you want to put that in there, but yeah, obviously know that Godzilla's been in the films. It says Godzilla versus this or Godzilla versus that, but it's fine. It's fine.
I mean, he doesn't go, I am Godzilla King of the Monsters in Godzilla King of the Monsters. It's like,
very true. It's very true.
Imagine if he did.
does he have any catchphrases? It's just yelling.
Yeah, it's just yelling basically. So I will say that the one bad thing I guess about Ghidorah is just his inability to not have arms. Like he does have the 3 heads, but there are no. He just has the 3 heads, the wings, the body, and the legs. So close encounters might not be his strong suit. So
There it is.
You had a comment come in, Austin. It says, Grind Project 400 writes, and I may have missed it, but how excited are you for the new movie?
I'm extremely pumped.
Yeah.
I am seeing it tomorrow at 2 for debuts on HBO Max and in theaters. So I'm incredibly excited.
I need to watch King of the Monsters tonight.
Ian had texted me that said he was in the middle of watching the original 2014 Godzilla.
Just for the movie that drops tomorrow, I need to watch King of the Monsters, and is it Skull Island?
Kong Skull Island.
So those two I need. Okay, cool. I'm here.
So and like the 2014 Godzilla, but that's the first one, so you might
I
not.
gotta watch 3 movies tonight. Son of a bitch.
I'm right there with you.
Oh, man.
Are they on anything? Do you know? They're on,
They might
Hulu?
be on demand. I think HBO Max actually has, I think, all of them.
Oh, okay.
So they might.
I'll do a little research while we keep it going.
Cool, but yes, Grind Project. I'm extremely excited. I've been waiting for this since King of the Monsters ended, quite frankly, because the ending credits basically show that these two were gonna fight off against each other. So I'm incredibly excited. I'm incredibly happy that I'll be viewing it tomorrow. And to save time, because I know we got a lot to talk about tonight, we will hit the second radical ranking.
They are all on HBO Max with a subscription. They're all on Amazon Prime with a premium subscription. They're all on Hulu with a premium subscription, and you can get them on YouTube for 4 doll hairs.
All right.
Please
So,
watch this shit tonight.
yeah, you got it, man. So we talked about the top Godzilla monsters. Now we're going to get into the movies that were never made for being weird and just being crazy. These are the top weirdest unmade Godzilla films. I had to look these up to make sure I had all my information right. But yeah, these were actual films that were considered. So number 5 we'll get into Godzilla versus Makani Kong.
That's terrifying.
That is. So Makani Kong, which I am saying that right, that is an actual name. It's not Mecha Kong, it is Makani Kong. Was essentially the main villain in Kong Escapes. This is when Toho had recently bought the King Kong license, so they were able to use it. But in the King Kong versus Godzilla film, Kong was beefed up to Godzilla's size, and in this one, he was shrunk back down to roughly about 60 feet, 60, 70 feet, I think. So the whole point of the Kong Escapes film was that they were mining illegal diamonds, and they tried to get Kong to do it. And when Kong wouldn't do it, they created this giant robot Kong in order to do it for them. And then the two, Kong and Makani Kong, fight. And for some reason, they wanted to include Godzilla taking on a mechanized version of his greatest rival. I would have put that in the lower tier of movies if it was ever made. The plot really just doesn't seem to make sense for me. But yeah, Makani Kong was also like 70 feet, and Godzilla's like 400 feet tall. So unless they were going to beef him up too, it wouldn't have made much sense. So,
Wonder what he eats.
oil, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. Maybe just giant
Not
version
even
of
screws.
giant Tin Man in ape form. So I guess, I don't know. We'll hit number 4, which is an actual film that got remade.
I was gonna say I thought I heard of this one before us.
So yeah, we'll touch that when we get into the later. But this one was Godzilla versus Frankenstein. The whole point of this was that to take a sort of Frankenstein monster-based kaiju and put him up against Godzilla. Essentially, Frankenstein monster being made up of other kaiju parts, such as the original Frankenstein monster. So the crazy ability here was that it was replaced by another monster, which we'll get into later. But Frankenstein was supposedly had the ability when he was struck by lightning to have electrical powers, and in order to stop God, I'm telling you, man, like we're not even halfway into the weird. Like this is strange already. So,
400% on what the fuck. I'm with this.
I feel like this would be pretty sweet.
I would watch this shit out of this movie, also.
If you like that one, hold on to your hats, man.
Hold on to your butt.
Hold on to your butts. Jurassic Park, I know that one.
You guys.
So, number 3, continuing with our monster themed, Godzilla versus the Wolfman. Which I'm not sure where they.
Do you want to stop fucking around and change the screen? Austin, I can't do it with this guy today, man. I'm gonna.
He didn't say number 3 yet.
He already named the show.
I didn't have my headphones on. Couldn't hear
Oh,
him.
sorry. Yeah. He named the movie. Okay, Austin, you're up now.
Go ahead,
Love
Austin.
You. Love you. Kiss, kiss.
Godzilla versus the Wolfman, number 3. I very much am interested in where they got this Wolfman design because I think it looks cool as shit. But yeah, it was essentially they wanted to use kind of monsters from the past at some point, like Frankenstein, the Wolfman. There was even a point where I'll mention a film that I was going to throw in here, but I didn't. That's Bride of Godzilla. They were going to have Godzilla face off against sort of like a Bride of Frankenstein kind of monster. So I don't know what the obsession was with the old school monster. I mean, they were the OGs, but I think leaving them in their proper form probably would have been for the best instead of beefing them up to kaiju size. Yeah, I mean, this would have been cool to see, but again, just a weird ass plot. That
How big is the Wolfman? I feel like he's tiny.
well, again,
You
like,
know,
yeah, they would have had to buy number 1, buy his rights of his name, and then beef him up, literally like make him 400 feet tall, because that was the only way that they were going to do it. So, unless you were going to tell me there's a giant wolf man kaiju out there, it ain't gonna happen. So.
Yeah. He kind of looks like he has like rabies in the
I mean,
pictures.
Yeah, the pictures are hysterical.
yeah, believe me, you haven't seen anything yet. We're going to move on to number 2. Yes, this was a movie that was going to get made. Thank God. Godzilla versus Ghost Godzilla.
This would be interesting.
How
to
is there a
watch.
ghost if he's alive?
So
Yeah. Good
I'll
point.
explain, because
Could be
the
a
premise
relative.
of this film was that this was essentially going to be the film that was going to end Godzilla, but they instead went in a more productive direction and went with Godzilla versus Destroyer. The Godzilla versus Ghost Godzilla idea came when they wanted to essentially create a ghost form of Godzilla out of the bones and ability of the spirit of the original 1954 Godzilla to fight at this point it would be the Heisei Godzilla. So having a Godzilla from the past come back to haunt the regular Godzilla, I just don't know how this would have worked though. One is a ghost and one is not. So
Comments are coming in saying it sounds like it came from Scooby-Doo.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
like
From the picture, it looks like it could be a
100%. That's a funny picture.
I just like I said, I don't know how. I'm glad they didn't do this because
Right.
I just don't know how it would have worked.
It could have been like a hologram ghost. Hologram Godzilla.
I don't think holograms are ghosts.
Well, it would look like a ghost.
Oh, they find
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
They take the mask off and it's a
Some guy,
hologram.
Like, it's probably Austin in the back. Controlling Ghost Godzilla.
You meddling kids and your stupid lizard.
I could definitely see that happening.
But you know what I couldn't see happening?
What's that?
Oh, I could see this next one happening.
The ridiculous nature that is number 1. I thought I had to sneeze for a second. What the hell is this? Godzilla versus Batman.
Holy big lizard, Robin.
This would be a good one to watch.
I mean, why would you not want to see this, Austin? I don't
I'm
understand.
not saying I wouldn't want to see it. I'm just saying, how the hell did this ever go into production? Like, you had the original Adam West Batman series that was going to apparently where Batman and Robin have to fight off against Godzilla when Godzilla comes from Japan to America and starts wrecking everything. I don't like, can you imagine the hilariosity that would come about this from taking like a serious issue of a giant lizard destroying buildings to, gee willikers, Batman, we gotta stop the giant lizard, like, golly.
I mean, if anyone's gonna do it, it's Adam West.
Like, that's true. I mean, the man, I'm not even bullshitting, because the man literally had shark repellent spray when a shark was biting his leg. Like, he's got something for everything. I just think that this would have been one of
He'd have something for that lizard ass.
Yeah, it would just be one of the weirdest turns in Godzilla that I would have ever seen.
Foreigner says it's like Batman versus Killer Croc almost.
Yeah, but
Not bad.
What if they did a Godzilla versus Reptar?
Who would win that one? Probably Reptar,
I would no.
since it's basically the same thing.
No, but Reptar's better.
I just don't know how they would have done this, first of all, because obviously Batman is a 6-foot man, and Godzilla is a 400-foot tall giant lizard.
And in this picture, he's just punching him in the face.
he got down on his level. So, Godzilla was sleeping,
Shrink
and
ray.
Batman just came up and.
I wouldn't be
Wumbo.
able to. I wouldn't be able to, like, keep myself together, because all I would think of would be Robin's short shorts, literally yelling like, "Oh my God, there's a giant lizard, Batman!"
How often do you think about Robin's short shorts?
Not often. And
Okay.
I know what you're trying to do, and it won't work. Sorry. And I definitely would not want to see them in my favorite fandom character in the film. So.
Okay, I just was curious how often you thought about Robin in his short shorts. That's all.
So yeah, those were the top weirdest unmade Godzilla films. There's definitely a lot more in there. They had one which I don't think it was weird. I thought it was a lot cooler than weird, which was Godzilla versus Mecha Mothra. I would love to see a mechanized version of.
Yeah, I feel like that one would actually make sense.
Right? But nonetheless, I wanted to save a lot of time for this. Our great debate!
You got a lot of time. We got 15 minutes till 7:30. I mean, Austin, this damn show can go till 10 o'clock. I do not care. I just love you, and I'm cracking up. I'm also eating peanuts.
Oh, well, at least I'm not there. You'd probably kill me.
That's why I'm eating them, because I know that it won't bring you in the studio, because you can't come here right now because you're doing a show.
Spread them around everywhere.
He's deathly ill.
Little landmines. So, yes.
Little landmines of peanuts.
What? Are we...
That's funny.
Okay. Reptar, 100%. So, tonight, for our great debate, we are going to be drafting a team of kaiju. Now, in order for this is going to work, I have given both our boys, Derek and Botash here, a list of pictures with the monsters, which we'll put out later when we do this, so you guys will also be able to see. But there are 5 selections and 4 categories of monsters. So you will have to pick one of the following. You will have to pick one alien.
Ooh.
You will have to pick one Earth Defender.
Ah.
You will have to pick one GDF, otherwise known as the Godzilla Defense Force.
Ooh.
You will have to pick one mutant.
Mmm.
And one wild card.
Ah.
Essentially, any one of the 4 categories of your choosing. So,
I like it.
I'm very, very excited for this. I can't tell you how many times I've edited it, re-edited, like this whole process for this draft. So.
Foreigner, do you want to pick the draft order? Unless, Austin, you had something in mind. That seems to be.
Oh no, I would love to see if someone would come up with a draft order. So.
Yeah, Foreigner writes in, how do you speed this thing up? Vo has a date with 5 goals. Well. Oh, Austin, don't worry. Vo's already made his decision. He just hasn't told Foreigner.
Oh, awkward. No, I already said I probably won't be there.
We'll give him like 2 seconds. Otherwise, we can do a random. I'll pull up a random generator just in case. Random list generator. I pulled up
Hurry
a
up,
random
400
number
pick,
generator
pick,
before.
pick. He's probably like running his computer right now.
All right, I'm going to hit this 4 times. 2, 3. This is the order. He got it.
Ooh.
400 beat me to the punch.
So the order for tonight's draft will go as followed: Bo, then Derek, and then I will have the roundabout.
I like the 2 pick.
Okay.
I think I have a nice little. I might have to wait a little bit after the 2 picks, but I think I'll be suffice with what I pick because I know that Bo's going first and he's basing it solely off of design because I know he doesn't know anything. Which I feel like maybe
Wow.
Derek is also in the boat for
Wow.
maybe not knowing as much.
I'm undefeated in drafts except for last night. I definitely admitted defeat because I couldn't think of picks between Boyd and Steph. But I've never lost a draft, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I've always came in second.
That's definitely not true.
One thing to let the viewers at home know is I did remove the King of the Monsters himself, Godzilla, from this list, as I thought it would be
Come
way
on.
too easy.
That's the only guy Vo knows.
So already whoever Rook 19,
Rook.
Deke wins already.
What are we talking about, baby?
Which we didn't even start the draft.
Vo's
So,
bros are
sorry.
Deke's freaks now. We're taking over.
Deeks freaks.
Deke's
We're taking over, baby.
There we go. And Austin has no one.
Austin's
Austin's.
Aussie's posses. Auss's posse. There's something there. I'll figure it out. Vo, you're up first.
All right. With the number 1 pick,
I bet you he
will
blows
take
it, Austin.
King Ghidorah
Okay, so he didn't blow it. All right.
because he's a 3-headed monster.
That is true. Okay, so Vo is selecting his alien to start, and that is King Ghidorah.
Ghidorah. I think I
Good,
said it
good.
wrong, but
You definitely
That's
said
close.
it. You said it terribly wrong.
that's gonna happen a lot on this.
All right, I'm up second. Deke's freaks, baby. I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna choose my Earth Defender. I'm gonna take King Kong.
I knew that was coming. I mean, you literally said, like, Kong.
I told you I got dibs on him. So
That's true.
no, I feel like out of this list of Earth Defenders, he's by far the quote unquote best, just because he's there. There's obviously a couple other really good ones, but I just wanted to secure the fact that I think that it will land heavy with the movie coming out tomorrow. Us.
Yeah, I think so, man. Like, I'm so trying to, like, hold my excitement in, obviously. So I will be up now, and I will actually choose my. I will choose my.
We got him stumped on the
He doesn't
first
know,
pick.
yeah.
We took his 2 picks.
Nope. I will choose my alien to start. I will be selecting Gigan with my number 1 overall pick. Gigan.
Interesting.
Gigan being my alien, I believe he incorporates a little bit of the cyborg knowledge with that. And for my roundabout pick, I will pick my Global Defense Force monster, and I will take Kiryu, otherwise known as Mecha Godzilla 3. Kiryu.
I see it now.
So Kiryu was built from the bones of the original 1954 Godzilla, incorporated with technology and vast amounts of energy. He actually has a chest opening that is called the Absolute Zero Cannon, where he fires a beam of light that is so cold it can freeze things on impact, and with the snap of anything that happens, it will disintegrate.
Thanos.
Sounds pretty intense.
Exactly. So
Sounds like you researched too much. You might be
I've only been a fan for about
26 years of research.
6 years of life. Yeah.
With my second pick, I'm going to go in the mutant category and take Destroya.
Yeah. I knew that I would have to let somebody take him because it was.
Well, and I didn't even know who Kairu was, to be fair. So you explaining it, I was like, that's a really good pick. So I'm glad you did. But walking away with King Kong and Destroya.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like your team's in and out right, so you might actually have something here.
I can always blow it. Don't worry.
Let's see if one can't. With one being Botash, because he got one on the. He got one on the. That's my number 1 monster of all time. But let's see if he can make a roundabout choice here.
I'm gonna stay in the mutant category and go with Behemoth.
Ooh, okay. So
he looks like a freak.
So Behemoth is one of the titans from the legendary universe of Godzilla, where Behemoth is essentially sort of like part woolly mammoth, part gorilla, which is, going back to our impossible creatures discussion of essentially having the body of a gorilla with the head and tusks and everything else of like a woolly mammoth. So
Yeah, he looks awesome.
yeah, the design is incredible. So
Yeah.
very much appreciated. We don't get to see him too much in Godzilla King of the Monsters, but when he is on screen, it is very well done.
So that's a good pick then, right?
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't think it's a terrible. You could have picked. I want to bring up a character design when we're done here because I don't see anybody taking this guy, Austin. So at the end of it, remind me because I want to talk about one guy's character.
Okay. So, Vo, you are up again.
Your third pick.
You have your alien and your mutant off the board. You still have 2 categories left to choose from.
So I'm going to go with the Earth Defenders on this one.
Okay.
I'm taking King Caesar.
Ooh, okay. So
He looks kind of scary. Like,
So
I wouldn't want to cross him.
bring the name differential back there, but this is King Caesar.
Caesar.
Which totally fine. Like, I don't expect people to get the names right, so it's totally fine. But King Caesar was essentially an island guardian that was locked in place by a family to eventually waken and protect, the whole state of the family era. Cool things about King Caesar is that he's basically almost like King Kong, but he has this unique ability where if you fire any sort of ray or beam into his eyes, he can reflect it back
Oh wow.
to the opposing monster. So I don't hate the pick, though.
That's not
I
bad.
appreciated him more when he was an ally in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, when he was allied with Godzilla. But he does make a small appearance in Godzilla Final Wars. It's just that it's more of like, Godzilla's fighting up against like 20-some monsters, so no one really gets to shine a lot in that movie. So, but I don't hate the pick at all, though. I think it's very, very well.
Thank you.
Bringing us to Deke.
Yeah.
He has his Earth Defender and his Mutant to categories to choose.
I'm all over the board here. I'm between 2 on this one, but I'm going to go Global Defense Force, and to counteract Votash, give me Mecha King Ghidorah.
Oh, I love it. See, I knew that. I knew that at least how many different variations of Ghidorah might be picked in this.
I wanted a piece of the pie. That's all I wanted.
Right. So Mecha King Ghidorah, essentially from Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. Godzilla had defeated King Ghidorah in that time frame, and so in order to realize to fight back against Godzilla, the people in that time go to the future and recover Ghidorah's body.
Oh wow.
Use future technology to mechanize it into its own like living cyborg like creature. So someone actually pilots this one, which is also cool.
Well, I would like to pilot it in our little fight here.
Alrighty. Okay, so I am up. I have my alien and I have my global mecha defense force. So I'm going to go and I'm going to take my Earth Defender. Very, very shocked this name was his latest pick, but I will take Mothra.
King Kong beats the dick off of Mothra, but that's also...
No, Mothra has a dick. She speaks. Ah! Mothra at number 3 for myself. Not only does she have the ability to respawn and essentially create larvae to take her place if she passes, but she can do multiple. She has left 2 larvae at one point. They have beaten Godzilla before at some, and Mothra has the ability to essentially evolve into different forms such as Mothra Leo or Armored Mothra. Different obvious helps from her twin fairies. So I will gladly take Mothra and come out of this very, very nicely. And finally, I will be selecting my mutant. And I would be silly if I did not take one of the monsters I hyped up at the beginning. I will be taking Violante at number 4. I feel like this team already has a very unique ability of speed and endurance. So I will take Biollante and wait for the last pick to decide my wild card. Very, very happy.
Looks like you're up.
I am up. I'm all over the place. All right, I got Earth Defender, I got Mutant, I got Global Defense Force, so I got Wild Card, and I have Alien left.
Correct.
Give me. You know what? Just to do it, just to make sure I get him. I really want him. Alien. Let me make sure. No, Alien. Give me Mechagodzilla.
I saw that coming.
I want one of
Solid
the.
pick.
There's like a there's a couple different things I could have gone there. Give me my Alien. Give me Mechagodzilla. I just want something OG and something that we're excited about once again for tomorrow. So recency biased. I had a really good draft.
Yeah. So this was
Not bad. Not bad.
This was an interesting one that I threw into the alien category because he's technically not an alien, but
Yeah, he's in the other categories, Oz. But why did you put him specifically as opposed to the other two in Alien?
So he essentially was made from aliens and used for alien purposes, which like the Global Defense Force is essentially like protecting Earth almost, which is definitely not what this Mechagodzilla was designed to do. So I kind of went on the lines that, it's alien technology. He is alien built. So I went and put him in the alien category.
Cool with that.
All right. For my, what do I have left?
You
I
got
have
two
the
left, brother.
Global Defense Force. I'll go with the Jet Jaguar.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
So-
what is that? Because
He-
I'm avoiding picking him because he looks like a Power Ranger.
Yeah,
So-
that's kind of why I picked him.
So interesting enough, which I won't spend too much time on this, but Jet Jaguar was created as sort of a robot that was able to do things like around the house, defend stuff if necessary, but also had the ability on because it strayed away from its creators and wanted to fight off against the different kaiju, which this is from Godzilla versus Megalon, just so everyone is aware. And Jet Jaguar has the ability, because this was created from a child. They wrote in an ad to see what child could create a robot that could occupy a film. They realized that the robot itself wasn't going to be able to do it, so they brought in and made it the trademark with Godzilla in order to bring it up to mainstream. But the cool thing about Jet Jaguar is that he's technically the size of an average human, but he is able to increase his height on his own in order to fight off against various kaiju.
He's like Ant-Man.
Yes, which is I'm very, very pleased that you picked that, though.
I'm looking at pictures of Jet Jaguar
Made
now,
sense.
and
I
he looks
had to.
dope.
So he's more of the lines of like Ultraman and like different Power Rangers styles. So
Yeah.
I am not upset at all that you picked this, but I actually think this is a pretty smart pick.
See, he's said that about all four of my picks so far.
We had a discussion about making
So-
you feel good about yourself in this show. So,
okay.
That's
Gotcha.
true, but I also
Gotcha.
said this about everyone's picks, including my own. So
That's
you're
true.
not.
You just like all the characters.
Ooh, you can buy a full Jet Jaguar tracksuit at gearhomies.com. It's $60, pants and hoodie.
Damn.
It's really cool. Merry
All right.
Christmas, Val.
Though you are up for your,
Perfect.
wild card. So
All right,
which of the 4 categories are you taking?
I'll take my pick.
For my wild card, I'm going to stick with the alien
Oh, thank God.
category. And I'm going to go with Space Godzilla.
Damn it, he was an alien. Fuck.
Yep.
You just picked him because it said space. You don't even know who he is, and neither did I until I Googled it.
I mean, you're not wrong. Took the alien. He's in space. He's
Oh.
That's
Godzilla,
all I wanted him
he's
for is because
powerful.
he's an alien. It's just space it.
Space
Damn
Godzilla.
it, that's a good. Is that a good pick, Austin?
Yeah, no, it is a really good pick.
Okay.
The only thing that's kind of against Space Godzilla is that he's not fast at all. Like, he's very, very slow.
But he's psychic. It said.
But yeah, he has telekinetic abilities. He's
So
able to
that's a
create
great pick for me then.
That's the only pick I'm jealous of.
his crystal like shoulders have the ability that he can rise crystals up from the Earth's core, and he can use electricity and different electromagnetic forms with his telekinesis. He's seen in Godzilla versus Space Godzilla where he uses his mind essentially and picks Godzilla up without even with just his head, with just his mind. So, though this was a really good sneaky last pick that you threw in there. I was hoping
Thank you.
it would
thank
fall to me, but I apparently
Oh
knew.
no, I was taking it too.
Now we got stuff to work on, Derek, because you are up for your last pick.
I know. I'm picking between two guys here. All right, yeah. Just because I actually know, I'm gonna go the alien category as well. I thought of like a few here, but this is the one that I've actually seen before. Give me Megalon.
Yeah, this was one of the earliest. Like when people say they've seen like Godzilla films, like this is one of the ones that they normally say that they've seen. I actually had this was probably I think VHS box set originally of Godzilla versus Megalon and Godzilla versus the Sea Monster with Ebera, the giant monster.
Yeah.
So I don't hate this pick, Derek, either, because Megalon is essentially the guardian of what is known as Seatopia, an underground civilization that depended on water supply to keep them going. But through human fracking, essentially, and other global things, the Seatopians set Megalon up in order to attack the, I don't want to say like upper dwellers, but like the humans of the world. He couldn't get the job done, though, and I will say that because
that's why you picked them.
The film ends up being a giant tag team match between Godzilla and Jet Jaguar with Megalon and Gigan. So it's a very, very like odd film, but it left a good place in my heart. I dig it.
Did you change anything
Did you change
then
anything?
and now? Because I am super loud. It sounds like something just.
I did not change it.
Did anything? Who do you point
No,
at?
I'm telling Bree to turn the I'm telling Bree to turn the
Okay, cool. There was just a really, really loud echo that stopped.
Loud echo.
I'm glad we have viewers.
Thanks,
that
Bree.
are not epileptic. Thank you.
You're the best, Bree.
So, I am up for my last pick.
Pressure's on. Because right now, I think my team's going to
is.
win.
You have one guy that I won. That's it.
But Austin said every one of my picks
I told
was
you
good.
why he said that.
Don't. Let me get this win.
No, let you get a win? No, because I earned it. You don't just get a win.
But I got Space Godzilla.
Hashtag Deeks Freaks.
we need one for Austin.
Osses Posses. Awesome Possum. Autumn Blossom.
Yeah, I don't want to. I had one, but that's probably not the direction I wanted to go. But I had King's Things, and that's probably not the.
That could be a good one.
That's the monster he took. You can write that down.
King's Things.
King's
All right,
Things. Which
number
category is
5.
that one?
King's Things.
So
King's Dingalings.
Good God. I am going to go with here, and I'm going to go into the. I'm going to go in the alien category as well. I feel like the aliens are always the coolest ones, but I am going to go with what I believe could be a huge, huge wild card, and that is Hedorah, the smog monster.
I thought you were going to take Orgy. Or Orga.
Orga.
My bad. It's a typo here. Orga.
Orga. Yeah. So Hedorah, I'm not crazy about the pick, but Hedorah is essentially based off of radioactivity combined with pollution, and whatever, like something fell from the sky essentially, you could argue from space.
Yeah.
And it mutated along with the Earth's radioactivity and pollution in order to create essentially a monster strictly made of poison. So when I'm going with here, I'm going with as I would maybe selected Pokemon.
One of those is biased.
Consider it maybe like a Muck scenario from Pokemon.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of him now. He looks dope, boss.
Yeah, the cool thing about this is that Hedorah also has the ability to transform into different variations. The biggest one where he can transform into essentially like a polluted flying saucer. And flight ability. So that's kind of where I went with this.
Kind of looks like old Greg.
The only one that I was yeah, he does look like old Greg. Austin, the only one that I was thinking about picking it over Megalon was Anaguirus.
Anguirus, yeah.
Anguirus, thank you. I was gonna say that's the only other one I really recognized.
Yeah, that's Godzilla's. Essentially, you could call him Godzilla's boy.
They said the Robin to his Batman.
Yeah,
I was gonna take Skyla. Is that it?
Where's that one?
So
at?
you're taking the so Vo has mentioned 2 of the legendary kaiju from the legendary universe.
What's
Scylla,
Skyrim
which
on
I,
him?
Scylla, which I
Mutant.
believe is called. It's like a hermit crab mutation kaiju.
That was the one I wanted to bring up. Yeah. No, it's not. No, it's not. I lied. I have another one. Skilla looks cool. I have another one.
Is it Methuselah?
Who? No,
Methuselah?
this goddamn crawfish.
Ibra.
Ibra.
Oh,
His
Ibera,
goddamn
yeah,
crawdad.
the sea monster. Yeah.
Hey, he looks cool.
Yeah, Austin
He does
definitely
think-
lost. I agree.
I don't think so. I think I gave you guys some knowledge and you prevailed when a lot of times like I was very cautious if you guys would do it. But I'm very proud of how this draft ended up.
No bad
I'm okay.
picks.
I'm okay with losing this if I lose this because
He knows he
you all
lost.
learned something. You all learned something today.
We'll put it on the social and see.
Yeah, there's
I'm
another
very-
one. Thanks, Steve.
So, oh man, all these people guess me. I don't like it.
See, here's they're all picking him because they think that he's like,
Smart.
no.
Genius.
No. Okay, screw it. I'm over it. This was dumb.
All
This
right,
was dumb.
so, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a quick commercial break and be right back with the top 10 rankings. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Josh. I like pizza. Do you like pizza?
When the moon heats your eyes like a big pizza pie.
We've let it coagulate. Show Greg, king of coagulation there.
Coagulation is key.
Homemade Greek ranch.
Do you like watching people eat pizza? Help me, because I'm on the quest to find the best pizza in Pittsburgh.
Hand-forged pizza. Bit Vici. That's amore.
Make sure you're sending in your recommendations for the best pizza in Pittsburgh, because I'm gonna go, I'm gonna try it, I'm gonna hold it to my standards.
It's the aftertaste is the barf. It's where the barf comes
Oh
in.
yeah. I agree. It's bomb pizza.
Can your favorite pizza place pass the test? Find out.
We good? Just give me a thumbs up for that. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the top 10 ranking of the evening. I thought this was an appropriate one considering that the new movie is out tomorrow. That why not rank my top 10 Godzilla movies of all time? So sit down, grab your favorite.
Who do you think was standing while watching us?
Hey, you don't know.
Just-
People could be working out watching us. We
That's
are
true.
at Union Fitness.
Sit down on a
What?
treadmill, Oz? Is that what Vo's trying to tell our people to do?
And you know
No,
what?
you
I
said
wouldn't
why they were
advise this
standing.
one, sir.
I know, but you're saying people could be. He said sit down,
Yeah, and you said
and you said well people could be at a gym. So I'm saying you're telling people to sit down while they're working out on a treadmill. That seems chaotic.
it's
You see what I mean,
dangerous-
Austin?
it's
You see what I gotta
dangerous,
deal
but
with?
you could.
This guy's a
Well,
walking
I-
liability.
I would advise against the whole sitting down on a treadmill scenario. It's not like I've done it, but I would, just for pure common sense, I would advise against it. So we'll hit this with number 10 of the top Godzilla films. Number 10 from the year 1964, Mothra versus Godzilla. This was the 4th Godzilla movie to ever grace the screen, and originally was called Godzilla versus the Thing, because that was originally what Mothra was called in her original standalone film, was that it was either Mothra or the Thing, because they really did not have a name for her yet. The cool thing about this film is that essentially this giant egg is preserved and essentially sold to the public to view a spectacle, like a different like attraction. They were like, oh, look at this giant egg, which, you know, unless it's scrambled, I'm not touching it. So I get it. But the whole premise is that they build on top of where Godzilla was buried. And Godzilla wakes up pissed, obviously. So he goes on his rampage, and we find out that the giant egg that had washed ashore was the larva of Mothra. And so Mothra comes to save her egg, only to be defeated by Godzilla. Not fairly easy, but Mothra was in her old age of dying soon anyway. So the egg hatches and 2 Mothra larvae arrive and use webbing in order to send Godzilla into the sea, which these all might be a little bit of spoiler review too. So if you didn't catch that.
If you haven't watched a movie from 1964, that's on you.
But that's very true. So
I'm backing you on this one, Austin.
I got you. So we'll move on to number 9, which was the predecessor to this film, 1962's King Kong versus Godzilla. I know with the new one coming out tomorrow, I know this maybe should be higher, but it was a little wacky for my taste. This was when people thought that cigarettes were good for you. They took cigarettes to an island and they said, you need to smoke them. They're very satisfying. And they gave like cigarettes to a kid, which was also like a no-no. So
fair.
This was interesting though, because in the previous film, Godzilla had been essentially buried in ice in a glacier, and he wakes up, wreaks havoc, and comes to Tokyo in Japan and tries to destroy it. The King Kong storyline comes in where the individuals that are visiting the island are there to sell a pharmaceutical drug and are there to get the berries in order to make that said pharmaceutical drug. And on the island, they end up discovering the island's god, King Kong. And they think that they put 2 and 2 together. If they can put Kong in order to fight Godzilla, it would make for great TV. So they literally buy the right, like they buy Kong off the islanders and ship him in order to fight Godzilla.
Huh.
So
I would watch that.
What was that?
I would watch that fight.
It was wacky, and when I said that the a film take place later, this was supposed to be the Godzilla versus Frankenstein film, because in this film, Kong, buried in rubble, gets shocked by electricity, and has the ability to, when he grabs onto Godzilla, to shock him with an electric pulse. So that is the quote unquote equalizer to have a giant monkey face off against a radioactive lizard.
So he could have been Franken Kong.
It is Palasha.
Could
What up, Y Lime? Coming in late, says hope everyone is well. And Chip said, oh no, there goes Tokyo.
That's a nice little rhyme. I dig that, Chip.
Looks like they're trying to dance in that picture. Doesn't
Yeah, I
really
mean,
look like
well,
they're
back in
fighting.
the day, these were guys in rubber suits that really couldn't see out of the costumes and everything. So when they're swinging, they're just swinging blindly.
that makes it even better. Like if they're
So-
with all the buildings and everything, they're just smacking it. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. The cool part about this film is it has an amazing shot, which I tried to find a picture of, but I couldn't, where Kong and Godzilla are fighting on opposite sides of a bodega. And it is like really, really cool to see like how the two sides, and there was a myth along with this film that if you had the American version, Kong won, but if you had the Japanese version, Godzilla won. That myth was debunked and said that Godzilla was not found, but Kong was seen swimming back to his island.
That is a Blue Oyster Cult song, Dad. I didn't know that.
It is. That's what we sang in the, I think in the one thing when we did the Godzilla ranking. That's what Josh tried to put on.
Whoa. Yes. Okay, I'm here now.
Okay. We'll hit number
Thanks
8.
for joining us.
You're welcome.
We'll hit number 8
Geeks
with our
Freaks.
most recent
Geeks
one.
Freaks.
We'll hit number 8 with our most
What's
recent
that, Austin?
one. I couldn't tell you. We'll hit
King's
number
Freaks.
8. Recent one. This film got a lot of shit, and it shouldn't have, but it did. 2019's Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
I'm excited to watch this.
This was amazing. Visually stimulating, to say the least. Like, I'm sitting in the theater, and I am cheering, and I am yelling, and everyone else is looking like I am some sort of idiot. But this was a huge break to see different kaiju in the legendary MonsterVerse sort of come alive. Ghidorah was actually played by 3 different people. They used like CGI and put like a face projector along 3 different guys, and they literally like put their heads like together. and were like had their own little I don't want to say personalities, but it was essentially like personalities of each head of the dragon.
Oh, okay.
So this was really, really cool because like all the designs were amazing. The storyline is where it got shit from, and I get it. When I watched it, I said, you know what? Maybe people aren't going to notice that, but you know what? It happens. But when you watch these films, you are not going for the story. You are going to see giant monsters fight. And that's exactly what this film is. And it is incredible. There's so much. The director knew how much nostalgia. He grew up as a Godzilla fan himself. So he knew going in that he was going to incorporate different parts of nostalgia. There's old Godzilla music. You could hear old Godzilla roars and differential, like, how like they work. Man, this Derek, don't let the plot discourage you. This film is
No, I just
amazing.
want to watch monsters kill each other. Yeah.
Exactly.
Doesn't sound bad.
No. We'll move on to number 7, which you'll finally be able to see the height difference. 1989's Godzilla versus Biollante.
Yeah, this monster's dope.
Yeah, like the whole premise of that a fan wrote the plot, wrote the script, wrote everything, and sent it in, and they were like, yeah, we're gonna roll with it. And it took a giant stand with nuclear stuff with the environment, everything plant related, how everything works. There's so much chemistry talk in this film. Like you feel like you didn't learn from like your old like college like professors and everything and your high school chemistry teachers. Like stuff came up on this with like bionuclear and like genetic material. And like
I like the
everything
spore thing you were talking about earlier too, Oz.
Yeah, like it had like Biollante has the ability when she feels threatened that she can turn into millions of particles of pollen and literally like fly away. So, which actually, quick trivia fact, created Space Godzilla. Parts of Godzilla's DNA ended up sticking to the spores, and the spores flew into space, hit a black hole, which created Space Godzilla.
I would like to challenge that, because when I Googled Space Godzilla, it said that Mothra carried it into space.
That's one of 2 theories. So I'm glad that you pointed that out.
Ooh, I like that. I like that there's theories and not like an actual answer. I love that.
Mm-hmm. They actually, in the film itself, they said there were 2 various ways of doing it, and one was Biolante's spores.
That's awesome.
Or flesh of Godzilla that was attached to Mothra when Mothra went into space. So
Love that.
I'm actually really happy that you brought that up. So
That's what I do, baby. I Google shit.
Google shit. Number 6 will be 1974's Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. The whole instance with this that we finally are introduced to a mechanized Titan version of Godzilla is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like, this is my favorite Mechagodzilla design by far, as simple as it is, but it's great, man. Like, even though I picked like the 3rd generation of it, the fact that that's made by aliens is incredible. The plot is actually really, really cool, as it talks about a prophecy, and the whole movie essentially is around that prophecy that, you know, a monster will show up out of a volcano. I think when the sun or when the sky is black, a monster will appear and destroy. And then it goes along to say when the sun rises in the west and something else happens in the east, 2 other monsters will fight to save the people. And you know, you think you're like the sun rising in the west, like how's that possible? And what happens is there's a light from the east that's a mirage that blankets to the west and creates the sun in the west, which I thought was the coolest thing. I was like, how are they going to do this? Like, obviously this, you know, can the sun really rise to the west? Like, how's that going to be possible? But they did it, man. And we ended up being treated to a 2-on-1 assault with Godzilla and King Caesar battling off against Mechagodzilla. So, which the movie actually ends with Godzilla. You know, in the middle of the film, he gets struck by electricity and develops a magnetic ability. So, of course, in order to beat Mechagodzilla, he's able to reel him in with a magnetic pulse and essentially rips Mechagodzilla's head clean off.
Oh my God.
So very brutal.
Fair fight.
And we go from
That's
brutal
awesome.
to political with number 5, Shin Godzilla, 2016.
This poster looks dope.
It is so cool, Derek. The whole film is actually a parody and farce on Japanese politics, which is hella awesome.
It's meta as shit.
The whole point is that the Japanese government literally has no idea what to do unless the person ahead of them and before them okays it. So you have scenes where they try to attack Godzilla, but in order to do that, they have to check with the ground patrol to realize if anybody is there and has escaped, and they have to check with the prime minister, see if the buildings are vacated. Like, it is the biggest farce of Japanese politics I've ever seen.
That's so funny.
They have different stories of how, like, because they originally they didn't believe the monster was real. They thought that it was something like an earth fissure in the sea that was
a break of the crust and all that science jazz.
So they would have a lot of like political meetings and everything, which could get a little tiresome. But when they realize like what it is, they double back and backtrack. It is by far hilarious to see. But the design of Godzilla itself is unreal. It's more menacing. Like, there's a part where he, like, in order to transform, he has to remove blood from himself in order to, like, get taller. There's also where he has different, like, you have his, like, normal radioactive blast from his mouth. Well, in this, he can create smoke. And then when he wants to change it, his eyes go from, like, a pupil to white. And then it goes actual, like, just regular fire. And from that, it generates into, like, a very thin purple beam that can shoot not only from his mouth, it can shoot from his tail, and it can also shoot from his back. So this is, like, a hybrid version of Godzilla, which we've never seen before. And like I said, at the end of the film, we see how farther he can evolve, because he had essentially Godzilla humanoid-like creatures that were about to spawn from his tail.
Should have drafted him.
So, well, he wasn't on the list.
I don't think he was on there.
I would have tried my best. I would have added him in while you guys were taking a pick.
I wouldn't have noticed if you did that.
Number 4, straight on, is the one that started it all, and that is Gojira, 1954. The whole animosity of the radioactivity and nuclear testing presented itself in the form of a giant lizard that went to Tokyo and firmly, like, destroyed it. This at one point was considered a horror film because of how devastating. Like,
I believe that.
He eviscerates the city. Like, you see people, like, falling, like, under him when he's, like, trampling. Like, it is very, very dark in a sense of telling how far nuclear pollution and radioactive testing with, like, the H-bombs can go and create, like, such a monstrosity. So, and like I said, he ends up being defeated by the oxygen destroyer, which is scary in itself because you get to see a monster's literal flesh ripped from its bones.
You had two comments come in, Austin. Rook said, what about the 95 Godzilla? And then Morrow writes in, if the Broderick Godzilla movie isn't in the top 4, I'm unsubbing.
Well, why would you think that? Honestly, yeah. I have to challenge that. Are you 100% like accurate on that, or are you just fucking with me? Like, for real? Because that is by far one of the biggest trash heaps.
It doesn't even look like a Godzilla.
It's not.
You know what I mean?
Like, it's Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
That's literally what it is.
That's so funny.
So, yeah, that movie is absolute garbage. If you don't believe me, they scrapped the sequel, which was supposed to set the villain kaiju was supposed to be a giant bee. Get this, called the Queen Bitch.
Oh, it's terrible. That's why it's fantastic, Morrow says.
So you're saying it's not in the top 3?
It's not even on my. It's I think it's like 31 out of 32 though. It's that. We'll move on to number 3, which features a pick from number 3, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. This one was cool in a various amount of ways. One, it featured something we had not seen in Godzilla's universe at the time travel. Where in order to rid the world of Godzilla, they go back and realize that he was a dinosaur on an island that actually protected Japanese soldiers in World War II, which the dinosaur eventually fell and was struck with the atomic bombs, giving birth to Godzilla. So what they did was, with their help, the humans were able to move Godzilla into a different place in order to avoid the radioactivity of the blast. However, the aliens from the different time had a different method. They stuck 3 little creatures called Dorats on the island, which their own little microscopic, not microscopic, but little dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And the radioactivity turned it into King Ghidorah.
No way.
To do that, they would have to shoot Godzilla with enough radioactivity, have him transform back. Godzilla ends up beating King Ghidorah, and when they realize that this Godzilla is very angry for the fact that it was, not rightfully taken seriously, they have to go into the future and get King Ghidorah and mechanize it in order to attack and destroy Godzilla. It's a whole time warp of possibilities in this film, which makes it awesome because
they had the multiverse before Marvel did.
Exactly. So
I like that.
We'll hit number 2, Godzilla versus Destroya, 1995.
I like how why did you say one of Votash's picks, but you didn't say that this was one of Derek's picks?
I'm sorry. So one of
Because
Derek's
I clearly
picks.
Thank you, buddy.
I clearly
This
won.
one's higher, Vo, so I don't know what you want to do with yourself. Thank you, Austin. Love you. Kiss, kiss.
So, I already kind of established that this was supposed to be the last Godzilla film, but after, surely enough, the Matthew Broderick version, Tokyo got really pissed, and Toho, the production, then bought the rights to Godzilla back and started making Godzilla movies again after how awful that movie was. But this one combines elements of the past and the present. The fact that Godzilla is essentially having a nuclear meltdown in his body brings in what is known as the G-Force with their freezer weapons. And there's a machine that goes along in the Heisei series that is called the Super X. They have it in Godzilla 1985, or the Return of Godzilla is the original Super X. In Godzilla vs. Biollante, it's the Super X2. And then in Godzilla vs. Destroya, they turn it into the Super X3, which literally shoots weapons that are non-conventional, meaning they are all ice-cold freezer weapons that go beyond negative 360 degrees Celsius. So they shoot Godzilla with these to try to bring down the temperature of him. Sadly to say, Godzilla and Destroya have their fight. Destroya kills Godzilla's kid, and Godzilla ends up melting down. And when they realize that they can't stop the meltdown, they fire all their freezer weapons to try to minimize the blast. And what ends up happening is that all of Godzilla's radiation, when he dies, goes into his son, which then turns into another Godzilla, which is the coolest ending, basically silhouettes going forward to the end. So it was a really cool movie, to say the least.
Rook writes in, this was the first one I saw.
Yeah, next to Megalon and Sea Monster, I had this one on VHS too. So it was, again, one of the first ones that I saw, and one that I resonated with a lot. I loved it.
Nice.
But you guys know by now, if it's not number 2, it ain't the best. So number 1, the number 1 Godzilla film of all time, GMK, in 2001, which stands for Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters, All Out Attack.
That is the longest title of a movie ever.
It is super long. It is by far the most interesting and the best film ever, because they swap roles with Godzilla and King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah in this film is meant to be an old-time Japanese dragon, not an alien at all. And in order to do this, it resonates a lot with World War II, because this Godzilla is made up of the souls of the dead Japanese soldiers from World War II.
There's a lot going on in this shit.
There is so much. All the rage, animosity of those soldiers rebirths Godzilla into one of the most terrifying forms he's ever admitted. And not only that, it takes 3 monsters to try to stop Godzilla in this one. Baragon, Mothra, and King Ghidorah. And man, like Godzilla wipes the floor with just about all of them. Even with some of them working together. So, but this by far, it had the best action sequences. It had the best scenes. It had the most really feeling of a Godzilla film because you felt that all this rage from like the World War II soldiers. Like,
Yeah.
That's what it was. So, this was, I can't say anything else other than this was incredible.
I'm reading some comments on Rotten Tomatoes because this has like it's 63 on Tomato Meter, but it's a 78 audience score. And the Boston Globe writer said, as absurd as its title, and by those standards, it's a hilarious success. And I love that because the title is absurd, but the way you described it, I was like, that is crazy awesome.
The cool thing I love about this film also is that Godzilla is insanely brilliant. Like in other films, he's kind of dead right dumb.
Yeah.
But in this one, like he's able to sense when stuff's gonna happen and kind of maneuvers it. There's also a scene where he's walking by a hospital patient, and you think that he's gonna attack, like go through the building, and instead walks by it. And the woman who's on the hospital bed's like relieved until the tail comes up and swipes the building clean off. It's brutal. Like there's a lot of crazy and deaths and everything that goes into this film. Like it is by far the best Godzilla film, and I will challenge that till the day I die.
Can I challenge you real quick? It is 22nd on Rotten Tomatoes' editorial list of movies ranked, but that is by their meter, not the fan meter. The fan meter is really, really high, but it has Gajora as 1. Which you've shown a lot of respect towards. So I personally, the way you've described all these movies, I think 22nd is an absolute complete fucking joke by this list. So I'm not even going to, I just exit out of it. So SMD.
Didn't even touch it yet.
Is Invasion of Astro Monster, is that Godzilla?
Yes.
Okay.
That is also known as Godzilla versus Monster Zero, which Monster Zero is King Ghidorah.
Oh.
This alien inhabiting this planet gives it the name Monster Zero because they operate all in numbers. They call Ghidorah Monster Zero and Godzilla and Rodan Monsters 01 and 02.
Ah. That makes sense. Do you want to go through the top 10, Oz? Because I think that this list is really strong.
Yeah, I will go through them. We had at number 10, we had Mothra versus Godzilla. Number 9, King Kong versus Godzilla. Number 8, Godzilla King of the Monsters. 7, Godzilla versus Biollante. 6, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. 5, Shin Godzilla. 4, Gajora. 3, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. 2, Godzilla versus Destroya. And 1, GMK.
I'm with that. I'm excited to go home and watch these 2 tonight because I'm definitely not watching all 3, but I'm going to try to get to 2 of them.
Yeah, I cannot say enough. So far, the Rotten Tomatoes score for Godzilla vs. Kong is an 80%.
Oh, wow. That's
so
good.
It is very, very high, even with all the Snyder maniacs trying to restore the Snyderverse, giving it a 1 star. So
I hate
it
people.
is, I for real. Like, so I'm seeing this tomorrow. I'm very, very excited I will probably write a blog about it. It is going to be, I have a feeling I'm going to be very, very excited about it.
What time are you seeing it tomorrow so I know?
2 o'clock.
Cool. I'll keep that in
2
mind.
o'clock or 2:30. So.
Good shit, bro.
All right. Well, I really can't say we have anything else to talk about. I nerded out for the last hour and a half. So,
And I won the great debate.
Yeah,
Well,
you definitely didn't
made the-
because we
you
didn't
made
post
it.
it anywhere yet.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
tonight I'm declaring myself the winner on the show
I
right
don't know
now.
if you very well. Okay, well.
I would love to
we'll
comment
see.
on it, but I keep having to move to the right because this camera's different. So
Stop
So,
moving.
I will say that we are live on Tuesdays at 6:30. Thoughts from the movies are up on Wednesday. Check that out. I believe they are doing Princess Bride tomorrow.
Yeah.
So check that out. At 8.
As you wish.
Thursday, the flagship show, 2 Beers Deep, appears at 6. Friday, the Vault drops its episodes at noon. Check all your Jersey content there. Boondock Bangarang at Sunday for all your sports betting and gambling needs. And then we have Idiot Hour on Monday, which is gone from video games to drafts. So
We will be trying to get an Among Us group for the new map this Monday on Idiot Hour, and 7 o'clock Beat the Bench drops on our YouTube and Facebook.
I was going to say, I wasn't sure when it dropped, but Beat the Bench. 7 drops on Monday?
7
All
on
right.
Sunday.
Sunday night, 7.
Sunday.
And we're 2-0. Just saying.
Don't jinx us, though, God damn it.
Yeah, technically. You guys are welcome for all the easy questions.
God, easy questions. All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into my nerd out. If you have any questions, like I said, tune in. We are always prepared to respond. And the only thing I can say left is check out Godzilla vs. Kong tomorrow. It will be available on HBO Max and in theaters. Until then, court is adjourned.
Court is adjourned.